Companies that are 150 times bigger than us are scared of us. I'm sure that they're annoyed, and that makes me happy.
What if I told you the most innovative company in tech today isn't Apple, Samsung, or Google, but a startup deliberately doing things that Silicon Valley considers a complete waste of time? I'm talking about Nothing, and its founder Carl Pei has been quietly rewriting the rules of how tech companies should operate. In an industry obsessed with efficiency, scale, and automation, Nothing is taking the opposite approach, and it's working. By the end of this video, you'll understand the counterintuitive philosophy that's making Nothing stand out in a crowded market, why it connects directly to Y Combinator's most famous startup advice, and how this approach could reshape the future of tech. But first, let's talk about who Carl Pei actually is, because his background explains everything about why Nothing is so different. Carl Pei isn't your typical tech CEO. Born in China and raised in Sweden, he dropped out of college to work in the Chinese tech industry, a decision that would shape his entire philosophy. In 2013, at just 24 years old, Pei co-founded OnePlus with Pete Lau. What's fascinating is how they launched. No massive marketing budget, no traditional advertising. Instead, they built a passionate community through forums, Reddit, and direct engagement. They created an invite-only system that made people feel like they were part of an exclusive club rather than just customers. OnePlus became known for its never settle mantra, creating phones with flagship specs at mid-range prices. The company grew from $0 to $1 billion in revenue in just 3 years, without traditional marketing. But here's where things get interesting, and where Carl's true philosophy starts to emerge.
OnePlus co-founder Carl Pei has reportedly left the company. This was a weird story. It broke like in the middle of the night.
In October 2020, Pei made a shocking announcement. He was leaving OnePlus, the company he built from the ground up. Many wondered why he'd abandon a successful company at its peak. The answer reveals everything about his vision for technology.
After some hours, then I was laying in the bed. I came back. You will see things.
In January 2021, Pei announced his new venture, Nothing. The name itself is a statement, a rejection of the excessive, feature-bloated approach dominating consumer tech.
People who are starting companies today or starting tech companies today, they're kind of taking the same methodology as you would do 40 years ago, before the consumer internet became a thing. Can't we build a new type of company together with the community out there?
Nothing is a new consumer technology company based in London that aims to remove barriers between people and technology to create a seamless digital future, he explained. But what does that actually mean? And why would someone leave a billion-dollar company to essentially start over? The answer lies in what Pei saw happening in the tech industry, and what he felt was missing. Consumer tech has become increasingly bland and uninspiring, Pei said in interviews. Smartphones had become homogeneous black rectangles. Innovation had stalled. The magic and excitement that once defined tech had been replaced by incremental updates and marketing jargon. Nothing was founded on a radical premise: bring creativity, uniqueness, and human connection back to technology.
Like, what does Nothing exist to do?
We're trying to make tech more fun again, because I think a lot of people can resonate with this. But personally, when I was young, I was super excited about tech. I felt really inspired, both on the hardware side and the software side. When I was younger, Apple used to have these epic product launches that I grew up in Europe, so I had to stay up over the night to watch, and it was worth it because each product was such a big leap forward compared to the last one, and it just made you feel like everything was heading towards a really exciting trajectory.
This might sound like typical startup rhetoric, but here's where Pei's approach diverges from every other tech company, and why it matters. Most tech CEOs are carefully managed figureheads who appear for major product launches and pre-scripted interviews. Their time is considered too valuable for direct consumer engagement. Carl Pei does the opposite. He regularly appears in Nothing's YouTube videos, personally explains design decisions, responds to criticism, and even showcases product flaws. He speaks directly to customers on Twitter and Discord, responding to feedback in real time. From a traditional business perspective, this is madness. The CEO's time is considered the company's most valuable resource, to be optimized, scheduled, and focused on high-level strategy and major partnerships. So why is Carl Pei wasting his time talking directly to consumers on YouTube when nothing has fewer than 1 million subscribers? The answer is directly related to one of the most influential essays in startup history, Paul Graham's Do Things That Don't Scale. In 2013, Y Combinator co-founder Paul Graham published an essay that became required reading for tech founders. His core argument is that the most successful startups begin by doing things that seem inefficient, unscalable, and even wasteful. Graham wrote, "One of the most common types of advice we give at Y Combinator is to do things that don't scale. A lot of founders believe that startups get acquired because of their growth rate, but acquirers really care about whether you'll keep growing, and the best indicator of that is user love." This is precisely Carl Pei's playbook at nothing. By personally engaging with customers, appearing in videos, and responding directly to feedback, Pei is deliberately choosing the unscalable approach, betting that the deep connection with early adopters will create passionate advocates who drive word-of-mouth growth. Think about what this means. While tech giants spend millions on focus groups and market research to understand customers, Pei simply talks to them. He asks questions, he listens, he acknowledges criticism. This creates two powerful effects. First, nothing gets immediate, unfiltered feedback on their products, allowing for rapid iteration. Second, and more importantly, it creates an emotional connection with customers who feel heard and valued, something no amount of traditional marketing can achieve. But Nothing's philosophy goes beyond just communication. It extends to the physical design of their products. The most distinctive feature of Nothing's phones is the Glyph interface, a system of 900+ LEDs on the back of the device that creates unique light patterns for different functions. On the surface, this might seem like a gimmick, but look deeper, and you'll see it's the physical manifestation of Pei's philosophy. First, the Glyph interface is fundamentally transparent, literally showing the inside of the phone. This mirrors Nothing's approach to business, transparent, open, and honest with customers. Second, it's purposefully different in a sea of sameness. While other manufacturers focus on incrementally better cameras or slightly faster processors, Nothing created something entirely new. Third, it's functional without being overwhelming. Each light pattern serves a purpose, indicating who's calling, charging status, or notifications, without adding complexity. The transparent design language carries through their entire product line, from phones to earbuds. It's a representation of their commitment to showing what's happening under the surface, both in their products and their company. This transparency extends to how they discuss their products, openly acknowledging limitations and areas for improvement, rather than hiding behind marketing speak. Now, let's talk about what might be the most revolutionary aspect of Nothing's approach, how they're redefining tech marketing. Traditional tech marketing focuses on aspirational lifestyle imagery, celebrity endorsements, and technical specifications. It's polished, controlled, and emotionally distant. Nothing takes the opposite approach. Their YouTube content is direct, technical, and often unscripted. They discuss engineering challenges, show prototype failures, and acknowledge competitor strengths. While this might seem amateurish compared to Apple's cinematic product videos, it creates something far more valuable: authenticity and trust. MKBHD, Marques Brownlee, is widely considered the most influential tech reviewer on YouTube with over 19 million subscribers. His production quality rivals major studios, and his opinions can make or break products. Yet Nothing, with less than 900,000 subscribers, just 5% of MKBHD's audience, has created comparable influence within the tech enthusiast community through their radically different approach. Their engagement rates, comments, likes, and shares per view often exceed channels many times their size. Why? Because viewers aren't passive consumers of marketing, they're active participants in a dialogue with the company. This connects directly back to Paul Graham's advice.
The best advice I ever got was from Paul Graham. He was our first investor, and he said, better to have 100 people love you than 1 million people that just sort of like you.
It's better to have 100 people who love you than 1 million people who just sort of like you. Nothing has built a core audience that doesn't just like their products, they love what the company stands for. Carl Pei's philosophy at Nothing isn't just changing one company, it's challenging fundamental assumptions about how tech companies should operate in the 2020s. As AI, automation, and scale become the dominant focus in tech, Nothing is proving that the human element, personal connection, transparency, and creativity remains incredibly powerful. This approach creates several advantages that are difficult for larger companies to replicate. Customer feedback goes directly to decision makers without being filtered through layers of management. Rapid iteration based on real user experiences rather than abstract market research. Brand loyalty built on authentic connection rather than marketing budgets. Product differentiation driven by actual user needs rather than competitive feature lists. For Y Combinator-style founders watching this, the lesson is clear. Don't be afraid to do things that don't scale, especially in the early stages. Personal engagement with customers isn't a distraction from building your company. It might be the most important thing you do. Of course, this approach isn't without risks. As Nothing grows, maintaining this level of personal engagement will become increasingly difficult. The pressure to adopt more traditional, scalable approaches will intensify. The question becomes, can Nothing maintain its distinctive philosophy as it expands? Can Carl Pei continue to balance CEO responsibilities with being the face of the company? And will the transparent, community-first approach translate to broader market segments beyond tech enthusiasts? These are open questions, and the answers will determine whether Nothing remains a fascinating case study or becomes a template for a new generation of tech companies. Carl Pei's approach at Nothing challenges us to reconsider what truly matters in technology. In an era dominated by AI, algorithms, and automation, he's betting on something fundamentally human: direct connection, transparent communication, and distinctive design. By embodying Paul Graham's advice to do things that don't scale, Nothing has created something increasingly rare in tech. Products with personality, a company with clear values, and customers who feel like participants rather than consumers. Whether you're building a startup, working in tech, or simply interested in where the industry is heading, Carl Pei's philosophy offers a powerful counterpoint to the conventional wisdom. Because sometimes, the most innovative approach isn't about adding more, it's about stripping away the unnecessary to reveal what truly matters. And in Carl Pei's case, that means building Nothing into something truly special. What do you think? Is Carl Pei's approach at Nothing the future of tech? Or will market pressures eventually force them to conform? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.